Hey everybody, so I have a new guitar here. This is a Solar Artist Series 1.6 carbon black matte. I ordered it about a month ago. They come out of Europe. I've been seeing more and more of these over the past couple years, so I think they're a relatively new guitar company. So the last guitar I bought was an Ibanez. It was a 7-string. I'm going back to a 6-string with this one. I think I'm just kind of looking maybe for something to complement my existing Paul Reed Smith, which I have back there, which I mostly use for leads, but I think I've been looking for something a little bit different for rhythm guitar. So hopefully this is it. So let's get it open. All right, and here it is. It's light, or at least lighter than I thought it would be. I've been playing my 7-string quite a bit lately, and I guess I'm just not used to looking at something this light, but it really looks cool. I mean, hopefully it's showing up on video, at least just the kind of the finish on it. But yeah, it just looks awesome. Probably the most recognizable thing about a Solar guitar is the inlay here. So notice that that's the only inlay. Like there's some dots here on the top, so you kind of know where you're playing. But this symbol here is pretty much it as far as inlays goes. I believe these are Seymour Duncan Solars, so I guess related. I think the last thing I'll point out is that this is a neck through, so this is all just one solid piece. I remember I used to have an ESP guitar that had a neck through construction like this, as opposed to a bolt-on where the neck is usually there's like a plate here that's where the neck is a separate piece and it's attached to the body. But this is just one continuous piece. And again, I'm just kind of amazed at how it looks. Like it's a really cool finish. Solar Guitars has a bunch of other types of similar guitars that have different colors and finishes, but this is the one I opted to get, and I definitely don't have any regrets about that. So anyway, I think enough talking and looking at the guitar. We'll play a little bit and see what it sounds like. All right, so it's been a few days since I originally unboxed the Solar guitar, and I definitely had some problems. First thing that I notice is that the strings are out of tune, and now that's not really such a big deal because this thing had to be shipped all the way from Europe, so that's kind of to be expected. So I start trying to tune the guitar, and I notice that as I'm bending strings, the pitch isn't changing. So the vibrato and the pitch is like none of it's changing. So on any of the strings. So I'm thinking, is the guitar broken? And it turns out that it was just me, and this particular guitar has something called an Evertune bridge. So an Evertune bridge, as the name pretty much implies, is a bridge that is meant to keep the strings in tune at all times and to be durable for just traveling and touring and things like that. So luckily, the guitar came with a manual to explain how the Evertune bridge works and how you actually set up a guitar with an Evertune bridge and how to get things in tune and get things like the vibrato and all that stuff done relatively easily. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it wasn't a huge deal. Now, when it started getting to intonation, wherein I was like just trying to make sure that it's like, okay, the guitar's tuned in drop C right now. So this is a D, and if I play a D on the 12th fret, it should sound pretty much it should still be a D note, but it was extremely flat on both the B and the G strings. So I followed the directions to try to intonate both of the strings, and then a string broke. Then one of the intonation screws in the bridge came out of the saddle, and I couldn't get it back in. That also happened with the G string, and at this point I was extremely frustrated. I couldn't figure out how to get the bridge set up properly. So I go to my local music store where I know a couple of the guys that work there, and they have actually been very helpful in the past. And one of them, luckily, has worked with an Evertune bridge before, so I left it with them. They figured it out, they got it all back into place, and then I was able to kind of take it the rest of the way from there. So one quick PSA and a tangent: support your local music shop. Now, one of the things that I noticed that I'm going to kind of gripe about a little bit is this peg right here for the strap. Because the guitar is shaped in a certain way where the body is kind of pointed right here, I guess it makes sense that you wouldn't have the peg on the very end of it. It just probably wouldn't even fit. So the peg is put on the back of the body and it faces towards the player. So this is not necessarily a huge issue, but when you have a strap that is set up this way, it kind of twists halfway from if you're actually standing up and playing. The strap, because of the way it's twisted, might feel a little awkward. I mean, it's not like a huge problem, but maybe it's just a minor grievance. So enough of all the setup and all that stuff. Let's actually play and get some tones and just see how it sounds. So first we're going to start with a distorted tone. I have my Mesa 2x12 cab with Revv Generator 120 on the purple channel, and I have a condenser mic put up right against one of the speakers of the cab, about halfway between the cone and the edge. That's kind of where I feel the sweet spot is in terms of getting the tone that I want. So let's get that going. So I don't know about you, but I think that sounds pretty awesome. So again, the guitar is in drop C, nice, good chugs. I think it's a good tone, and it plays very well. So I'll be playing some lead as well, just to kind of get a feel for that. But let's, before we get to leads, let's do some clean tones. So I think that sounds really good too. By the way, I forgot to mention that the pickup position I used for that was halfway between the neck and the bridge pickups. So let's do some lead. Okay, definitely sounding good in the leads, but I think before we can fully judge this thing, I think we need to record some stuff and put it in a mix and see what it sounds like there. So let's do that. right, so I think that passes the sniff test as well. So final thoughts and review of the Solar Artist A1.6. Plays awesome, sounds awesome. However, the initial setup of it was really, really tough, like I mentioned, with the intonation screws coming out and the saddles just getting all out of place. So that was a real pain, and I had to seek outside help just to get that fixed. And I find that kind of ironic when there's a sticker on the back here that says, well, it's more like facing this way, but it says QC passed on it. So to me, this did not pass quality control as it arrived here. Yes, I do understand that when you ship something from far away, things may not be 100% perfect, but I would think with a bridge like this, it was probably not set up right away out of the factory. So that was a little disappointing. However, would I still recommend the guitar? Yes, I still would. This is a really, really good guitar once you get past all of the initial issues that I had. And hopefully folks out there will not have the same issues. But still, even with some of that initial heartburn, everything I think was totally worth it. Because right now, at the very moment, this has been my go-to guitar. So anyway, for those of you out there who watch this, I hope that this was a helpful review, and I will see you next time.